just got out of the Green Knight, though.
We did.
And let me tell you what,
New
folks.
A24 movie. Not very common that we get A24 movies around here. They're usually just horror movies.
Yes.
And to call this is kind of a horror movie in a sense.
It can be. It can be at times. Kayla, let me tell you something. Very rarely, I just want to say this. Preface this interview with this. Very rarely are we sitting in a theater and we watch a movie and I have a legitimate jaw-dropping moment. Folks, let me tell you what. When this movie hits the second hour, this takes off.
I'd say the second act.
Well, okay, yeah,
Okay.
this takes off. When we
I agree.
When we meet some individuals, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, there's a lot of people.
I'm talking the.
Okay.
The tall people.
So,
the tall people. My jaw hit the floor. So like legit, I was like, okay, let's we're going down this road.
Some things. Usually we don't. Usually we don't talk about the actual plot of a movie, but I think it's important with this one because this one's following some mythology of King Arthur to an extent, and a character named I can't even remember, played by Dev Patel. Who's amazing. But so it's about the Green Knight comes to their village.
Played by the father in the village, or in the witch. I'm sorry.
The father in the witch has a famously deep voice.
That distinct voice.
And the Green Knight comes, and I guess this is part of the mythology, and comes on Christmas Day, sort of like Santa Claus.
Sure.
And he challenges someone to take a strike on him.
Sure.
And Dev Patel steps up to the plate and chops his head off, and wouldn't you know it, body stands up, picks up the head. And he takes off.
Ooh, spooky.
And he says like,
you saw that
says like, this is something like, but not necessarily like, I'll see you in a year.
Yeah.
So I guess he leaves the axe there, right? And so Dev Patel, a year later, is gonna have to go on this big journey to go to the Green Chapel where the Green Knight is gonna be.
You know, it was a long time ago. I saw this movie in high school, but this movie gave me like flashbacks to this movie. It reminded me of the Odyssey for some reason.
It reminded me of
I don't know why.
It reminded me so much of the Odyssey. It reminded me of the Odyssey, the Neverending Story, the Dark Crystal, and Pan's Labyrinth. It reminded me of all those, but this is an A24 movie. So this is an art film.
Yes.
This is also like an amazing period piece. It's also like kind of scary. Yeah. Like it's kind of startling. It is. Like it's kind of startling. There's some, like, it's not a horror movie, but there's some startling stuff.
If you could sum it up, it's an art house fantasy film.
Yes.
That's literally what this
movie is. And as a fantasy film, it knocks it out of the park.
Yeah.
Like,
it's beautifully shot.
The trailer, it's a great trailer. Trailer doesn't do it justice.
Didn't see the trailer
across
going into this,
all boards. This movie, technically, the best movie of the year. Because it's so weird watching Old this past week. Yeah. Which has the worst dialogue and worst acting I've seen, and this has the best dialogue and the best acting I've seen this year. It also, I mean, this is also cinematography-wise the best looking movie, and you know what? I don't like to just like overhype stuff, but this is the best looking movie I've seen since Blade Runner 2049. This movie is like astonishingly like gorgeous to look like. Yeah. If there was no engaging story, I could have just looked at this and be like, yeah, that was a B+. But the fact that there is an amazing story, I'm like, man, this is something special.
Listen. It's the fox, man.
The fox, that fox, man.
Looks amazing.
I was like, listen, that fox, I don't even know what the deal with that fox was, but I was so attached to that fox. Every time that fox, I was like, oh, the fox showed up. That's why I'm saying, like, it has those fantasy elements that you see in a kid's movie, but this is very much an adult movie. There's some very graphic stuff you were talking about. There's a scene where, oh God, let's see.
It's hard to not spoil this movie.
Yeah.
And talk
so
about
there's a scene where there's certain individuals, like you were saying, that are let's call them giants. Let's call them giants.
Well, I mean, that's a spoiler, but okay.
No, it's not a spoiler because there's no context. It's just like,
there's really not.
Let's just say it's a fantasy movie and crazy stuff happens. Yeah. And it's not enough to say that there's just giants. The way that this is shot is like you said, jaw-dropping. All that stuff leading up to it. Every character that he meets along the way on this journey, I found fascinating. Yeah. Like even like very little, like you have the guy that he meets, the first younger guy that he meets. Yeah. Found that character awesome. Like that actor was hamming it up and it was awesome. Yeah. So then he meets a character played by the actress that played the villain in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And that caught me off guard. I was like, what?
What's funny about this movie to me is the fact that, like, you know, it's the opening. Lightning, hello. The opening is weird. And I don't mean weird. I don't mean weird as in it pulls you out of the movie. Whenever the Green Knight shows up, it's one of those. It's like, okay, I know what I'm getting into, but the moment that, and I talked about this last week, where the camera panned around to show something and then panned back to bring us back into some sort of reality. That's when the movie just gets balls to the wall. Weird.
I know what you're talking about.
Yes.
He's on the ground.
He's on the ground, right?
Yeah. So that was
But the thing of it is I remember I talked about it in old. I hated that sort of.
This was done so much better.
This was done so much better.
So it does that a couple times.
And it was done right.
Does that again later on in the movie. It works very well. It works very well later on in the movie too. I just, I need to comprehend some of the stuff that we saw in this movie.
Yeah, it's another one of those like witch movies that make you think.
Even though plot-wise and journey makes so much more sense than The Witch, I'm sure that thematically and metaphorically, there's so many things that I didn't pick up on. I'm actually interested to read more on it and find out more of the stuff that maybe there was a deeper metaphor in there, and maybe I didn't pick up on it because I found that the story and the characters were that engaging. And I was like, that alone is getting me through this movie in like the most glorious way. And he meets some like really fascinating character, like the fox. Then he meets Joel Edgerton giving a performance like I haven't seen him give. Like he's almost like, to keep with the Christmas theme, that character reminded me of no, not like The Gift.
Really?
No, The Gift. No, he's a psychopath in The Gift.
I mean,
I'm not going to say he's a psychopath in this.
He could have been.
I found him to be in a sense, very warm. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's an act, but that character reminded me a lot of the Ghost of Christmas Present in any adaptation of A Christmas Carol.
Really?
Like, whenever you see that character pop, he reminded me of that. Like come on in, you get to know me better, man. Like that. Then Alicia Vikander.
Sure.
Alicia Vikander, I'm not even sure if this is in the trailer, she's doing dual roles here, which I found adds another element to this fantasy. Like, there's so many things that happen in any other movie, like, wait, that's stupid, that doesn't make sense. But the way that this movie established itself as a hardcore fantasy movie, like, you're up for it when these things happen. So when Alicia Vikander shows up again as a different character, like, yeah, totally. Like
sure.
And the fact that she's giving so much of a different performance than she was earlier in the movie, like this is the first time I've seen her in something in a long time, and I've missed her. Like I saw her in Ex Machina, and I was like, she's amazing. She's gonna be so good. Then she sort of hasn't been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And Joel
hasn't been in a lot of things since like the
Tomb Raider. Yeah. So
which Tomb Raider wasn't bad.
And like I said, Joel Edgerton, pretty small role, but I found that character for the little amount of time he was in the movie to be very complex.
Yes.
And I think the movie as a whole is very complex. I think Dev Patel anchors this movie so well.
Yeah.
I was totally on board with essentially every step that this movie took. And to me, it's not enough to call this movie a visual masterpiece. It's an audio visual masterpiece because there's a score in this movie that just gets it puts goosebumps on your skin whenever you mix that with the visuals. It's like the one scene in Annihilation where it's all no dialogue for 10 minutes. That scene, and it has the music and the alien so there's several moments like that in this where it's just it's just a feast for your ears and for your eyes. And it just really I appreciate that a movie that's so strong with its acting and dialogue can dial back sometimes and be you know what, there ain't gonna be some talking here for a little bit. We're just gonna do some visual storytelling. And that's none truer than the very ambitious and very out of left field ending, which is about 10 to 15 minutes long. Maybe not, maybe it's shorter. But I'd say that it goes dialogueless for a very long time while spanning over a certain amount, a long time, years and years.
I love the fact that this is the type of movie that you think is ending and it continues the story completely, like you said, way out of left field. And it's an ending that keeps you not only, it's one of those type of endings that some people may find that it's a cop-out ending, but it works so well for this movie.
And the place that it ends is so you're still not 100% sure what exactly happened here.
What's happened? Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a certain line that said that could mean this or that could mean this.
Yeah.
in either way, I'm like, you know what? The journey was so good, and all that stuff, like all that dialogue-less,
the Green Knight coming.
All that dialogue-less stuff was just like I don't like to just call stuff a music video, but when the music and the visuals are that good, it becomes like one of the best music videos ever because it's telling its story through.
So in other words, visuals. Caleb's gonna go home and download the score for this movie.
I'm gonna Spotify it because this score, I found it to be alarming, like startling, beautiful, just like the movie itself. I don't have a lot more else to say.
I mean, you've literally said most of everything that I would say myself.
Yeah, this is the best. It's the best movie of the year so far. This is the best movie I've seen this year. It just is. Not only that, like I'm wearing an A24 shirt. I'm a big A24 fan. This is actually one of the better A24 movies that I've seen. And this movie deserves to get nominated for several things at the Oscars. Like cinematography, obviously, score, obviously. The sound editing in this movie.
I would almost put it up for visual effects too, just because of that the fox.
Dude, the special effects in this movie were great.
Yeah. Sorry, it's the fox. Go look at the fox.
The sound editing in this movie, especially anytime the Green Knight comes in, is bone chilling.
Yeah.
So
because you know what? Dude, it's the way that they it's the sound effects they use for the breaking of limbs.
Oh yeah,
and
it's so good. And it's not just that. There's like several other things throughout the movie where the sound editing is like, this is on point.
Yeah,
and the editing, this is like a technically like flawless movie when it comes to like I could see someone having a complaint that some of it's boring or like it's kind of slow, but I was so immersed in it. I was like, I don't care. I'm used to this kind of stuff with an A24 movie.
Yeah.
Best movie I've seen this year. This is a modern day masterpiece. And I think it's the first time I've said that in any of our reviews, because usually we just say A+, but this is a modern day masterpiece.
I say modern day masterpiece sometimes. Cheap plug, no, I agree.
I'm saying like it's the first time I've scored something a modern day masterpiece in our reviews. Because it just is.
Yeah, it's this movie. This movie's a movie that you need to go. You need to just bite the bullet and watch. See it in a theater because man,
if you're
it's so immersive.
I said this in I did a review for the A24 movie called Zola last night, which is okay. But I said this in it, that if you're accustomed to the A24 style and their artful approach, that's just like relentless. This is like a must. This is up there. This is like The Witch, Pan's Labyrinth, and like Never New Story all wrapped into one. And it's glorious. And I can't wait to watch it again. I didn't think I'd be thinking that early on, but when it got going, I was like, oh, this is so good. And I was like, ooh. Especially at the end, I felt like when you get to that place where you kind of feel like you're in a high. Yeah. I felt like that while watching Hereditary and Midsommar, and I was like, this movie is nailing it completely. And I'm very hyper in this review because whenever I like a movie that much, I just am, and I found it to be that good.
Caleb is a bigger A24 fan than me completely, but I know when a movie's good, folks. And this is a good movie. You need to go watch this movie. It's a modern day masterpiece.
Did you give it a modern day masterpiece?
A+.
It's a double modern day. I was so concerned during this movie. I was like, Josh, I was thinking to myself,
why'd you think I was gonna hate it?
I never know. I can never read you because with old you said I'm not that harsh on movies. Then I started thinking. I was like, this guy hated. He hated Ad Astra. He hated Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I was like, man, there's some movies that I really, really like. So I was thinking during this movie, I was like, man, I really hope Josh likes this, so I can really like splurge on how much I loved it.
No, I really did. I really thoroughly.
You don't get to see a lot of movies like this in theaters.
No. I'm so glad it came.
It's so daring. It's such a daring movie, and I don't mean that in a pretentious way. Some people will take this movie as pretentious, but I think the Green Knight's coming for us. We're gonna wrap it up. Check this movie out.
Go watch it in theaters. Take your friends. Take your family.
I still fear that this is the kind of movie that's got like 50% audience score written all over it on Rotten Tomatoes, and I dread that. But I'm gonna live in this moment right now.
I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe
it'll approach. Maybe it's marketed to the right fan base, and they'll go watch it.
It's marketed to those Lord of the Rings fans that'll go watch fantasy films.
I just did. I'm sorry. Shut up. But yeah, that's our review. We loved it. Best movie of the year. Did you see it? Let us know. We want to know because we loved it. We thought it was beautiful, scary.
Comment about the movie.
Lacking humor though.
Comment about cinema. What's the word I'm looking for?
Cinema score.
No, not cinema score. Etiquette. Cinema etiquette.
Come on, guys. You guys gotta do better.
Come on.
You guys gotta do better.
Come on. You gotta do better than that.
Let us know. Are you interested in watching this? Let us know. Hit that subscribe button, and thank you for watching.